together. If I see something is good in you, I can emulate it. And if you see something that is good in me, you can as well emulate it. And by so doing, we'll be running towards perfection. You know, there is nobody that's an island of knowledge. There is a principle, the principle of EKE, and the principle of NKE. What is EKS and NKE? What is EKS? Everybody knows something. EKS. Everybody knows something. And NKE. Nobody knows everything. So, no matter how dull, no matter how insignificant a person is, you will get one thing to learn. Then, no matter how knowledgeable somebody is, you will still need something from somebody. So, and that's why we aspire to perfection. Paul said that we should covet towards gifts that we see in others. Now, I won't want to bother you too much on Bible, even though everything we do is on Bible principles, even the teaching. You know that education came to Nigeria through the missionaries in 1848 when the education started. So it was through the process of disseminating the gospel that they decided to bring in education. So I will be talking about some things you need to know as members of staff. Then I will also talk about qualities of a good teacher. Then I will round it off with some specific things that are needed to be done in your classes, in your classrooms as a KG teacher, nursery teacher, and primary teacher. So those are the things I will talk about. Now, let me start from members of staff. What are the things you need to know? I'll give you 6 things you need to know as a member of staff of Intellect International School. What are the 6 things you need to know? Number 1, you must know that the whole environment is proliferated with schools. The whole environment. In those days, when we started our own school, before you can see a private, if you leave a private school, before you can see another one, you will walk. I could remember, you see, I started my own school more than 2 decades ago now. In those days, we treated parents anyhow because you know they can't just go anywhere. Before they will see the next, it's like in this whole environment, it's so community, it's just a school. So you don't have to, there was not too much competition. But this time around, everywhere, it seems there is no other business again than school. So everywhere is school. So you must take cognizance of that in everything you do. That we must do the best to retain our parents and to make our school to grow. Then number 2, the government is indirectly making private schools operation very demanding. So the way the government is, the challenges the government is putting across to private schools is making it very demanding. You know, people patronize private schools because they feel that the government is not giving them what is required. Well, now the government is trying to put this in place. Computer, you can now find computer in public schools. You can now see some things going on. So if parents begin to see those things that they see in private, they begin to see in public schools, then that is putting the private school owners on their toes. the Commissioner for Education was addressing us the other time. He was saying that the private schools are now being digitized. So what is stopping the private schools? That shows we have to work harder than we used to work before. Then number 3, the more pupils or students available in the school, the easier for the management to pay salaries. The more pupils, students in the school, the easier it is for the management to pay salaries. You know, many teachers don't want to handle big classes. They say, no, that class is too many. The children are too, troublesome. Give me this smaller class. If it were possible, a teacher can be driving the pupils in a class away so that it will be reduced to a sizable number. She knows that no matter how little or few the pupils are, she's going to be paid her full salary. When it was happening in my school, you know what I did? We started sharing a percentage of the lesson, the lesson income by percentage. So they now discover that if you have a larger class, you will have larger money in lesson. So they say, I want this class. Before, if you put them there, they say, no, please, I will prefer so class. You'll be begging them to take a larger class. But when they saw that, okay, something is coming, they started working towards taking the larger class. But you must realize, the larger the population of the school, the easier it's going to be for the management to pay. So every one of us should work at enhancing the number of enrollment in the school. Then number 4, the teachers largely determine the growth of the school. The teachers largely determine the growth of the school. And I will tell you 3 areas. That is, if a school is going to grow, it depends on the teachers. If a school is going to be stagnant, it depends on the teachers. It depends on the teachers. In our neighbor, we just had a neighbor in my apartment. So they packed from around Bonogun or something. So the child, from Akpetel, the child, the 2 children, they will take bike to the junction and take cab to the school. So I called them. I said, Madam, why don't you change your children's school? This stress is too much. Change them. There are good schools here. I said, sir, my daughter's teacher, I don't want to, the woman is too good. The woman is too. It was not because of the school, because of that teacher. Even during, she was telling me that during the COVID-19 thing, that the teacher organized lesson, that he was still taking the children were still going to that woman's house. And she takes them very well. So if that school loses that teacher, there are so many pupils that will leave. So that shows largely the growth of a school depends on the effectiveness of the teachers. If the parents are complaining so much about the teacher, that shows that teacher is not working for the progress of the school. So the teacher, I said I'm going to give you 3 areas. Number 1, commitment or loyalty to the duty. If a teacher is committed and loyal to the duty she's assigned, then she's going to be instrumental towards the growth of the school. A teacher is to teach. A teacher is to supervise. A teacher is to ensure quality education of the children. A teacher is to stand firm to defend the vision of the school. Then, through their reports to the outside world, do you know that what you say to the parents outside or to the people in the environment, that's what they will believe about the school? Say, that's good. I'm only going, I will soon leave that place. I don't know. Then you are discouraging the minds of the people, of the parents. But if you see, when you are there, As long as you are there, you have to be loyal. What you say goes a long way to determine whether the parents are going to continue to patronize the school or not. It's like in the civil service. If you are a civil servant, you must keep talking good of the government. That's the rule. Yeah, about 3 years ago, I think it was during the last admission, I think Benga Dani. Is it Amosu? Yes. All right. There was this teacher that brought out SS, I think SS1 or 2. SS2. Wrote an English, set an exam, and it was going with what the government was doing. When they discovered, they said no. So they decided to sack the teacher because they believe he was not loyal to the government, even though the government is paying. So even if the government is misfiring, they must keep saying you are doing well, because that's where they are earning their livelihood. The same thing as teachers here. We must defend the interest of this school. Anybody that goes out to say something that will be detrimental to the school, that person will be called a traitor, because he be talking genuine. We have to keep it. We have to think of how to enhance the place, how to make it more viable, how to make the place more profitable. And that depends on what you say and what you do. Then the third thing is that through the ability to win the heart of the pupils, parents, so you know what to say to the parents to make them to feel that this is a place their child should be. Imagine a teacher in a school and say, and this way is learning is earning his own livelihood. That even if the owner of the school does not see it. So we must be cautious of that. Then I'm done with number 4. So number 5, no matter how unattractive a school may be, there are people who will still patronize it for some other reason, than beauty. For some other reason than beauty. Many people today, they talk about big structure, facility, shining things and bright things. It's good. There are parents that go for that. But I want you to know that I said it at the beginning of my talk the other time, that everybody knows something. In other words, everybody has something to offer. Everybody still has something. If you don't have the beauty, you don't have the painting, you don't have the great facilities, you still have something to offer. That thing you have to offer is what somebody else needs. Did you understand that? That thing, that little thing that is in you, that you have, is what somebody else is looking for. So they will not look at every other thing. They say, no, I don't mind that. This thing, I need it. That's why you must enhance that thing you have. Don't throw it away because of what you don't have. It is that thing you have that we use to get what you don't have. So, but by the time we cannot grow. We don't have this. We don't have that. How can we grow? No, we can grow with what we have. With what we have. So if we package what we have properly, those who want what we have will come to us, and through their contribution, through their money, we begin to use it to get what we don't have. Those who are at the top, they didn't start all of a sudden like that. They started somewhere. Are you getting it? They started somewhere, and they were using what they had to acquire what they didn't have. So, no matter how unattractive a school may be, there are people who will still patronize it for other reason than beauty. Then number 6, which is the last point. You can always maximize and amplify what you have to get what you don't have. You can maximize and amplify what you have to get what you don't have. So, God has not created anybody to be despondent. God has not created a person that has no value. We all have what we stand for here. So, let's come together to amplify that which we have. Some, they don't have anything, but they have persistence. They teach a child, they keep teaching. That's cool. That's where I will take the elder brother and the younger one too, because this is what I discovered in the elder one. So what you have, hold it properly. Don't, because of what you don't have, throw down what you have. That which you have, enhance it, elevate it. When we hold meetings, tell the parents this is what we have. You can't get it any other place. So you teachers will be the advocate of the gospel. In our school, this is what we have. You can't get it anywhere. So when you say this, these people are talking. So they remain, and they also do what? They bring others. So that is what I want you to know as members of staff of this great institution. Now let's go to qualities of a good teacher. Qualities of a good teacher. I told you I've been in the system for more than 20 years, precisely 25 years. So I can conveniently tell you what a good teacher is supposed to be. Now, who is a teacher? A teacher is an individual that knows what to do and how to go about to achieve the desired result in another person. You know what to do. Many people know what to do, but they don't know how to do it. That's a problem. That's not a good teacher. You know, a teacher does not only know what to do, he also knows how to go about to do what he wants to do in affecting the behavior of the other fellow. That's a teacher. Knowing what to do and knowing how to go about to do it. This person does not know anything. I want to influence him. You want to change his behavior. Then you know how to go. You might be going this direction, whereas this is where you want to go to. But because you know what to do, you want to achieve something, you may not have to go directly sometimes. So I want to give you 6 qualities of a good teacher. You must understand that a teacher is a model of influence. A teacher is a model of influence. That is, somebody that people will look at and want to take after. You know, if a child has professor as his father, if the professor who is the father to the child says, "Come, this how you say no. This is how my teacher said I should do it." So it's an influence. A teacher. They just put me on a WhatsApp group of old students of my alma mater in secondary school. So I was now chatting with a woman. I said, "You know, so person. That teacher, he was the one that taught me English. You know, I just wanted to be everything he was. Everything. I just loved the teacher." So imagine a child like that looking at the teacher and saying, "Everything this man is, I want to be." So a teacher is a model of influence. And that's why I'm giving you these 10 qualities. Number 1, you must have, a good teacher must have self-consciousness. Self-consciousness. That is, you must be able to assess yourself and know that others can do it, I can't do it. You know, when I'm at home, I like to, when I'm in my compound, I like to walk freely. I don't like wearing shoes. I don't like, but you dare not see me outside dressed like that. You can't see me fly my shirt and walk about. Because I know if I do that, so many people will be derailed. I'm so conscious of it. I'm conscious as a teacher. A teacher doesn't only teach with mouth. You teach with everything because they want to emulate you, hook, line, and sinker. And that's why you must be conscious. So a teacher has self-consciousness. Then number 2, a teacher is conscientious. Yeah, he is conscientious. Another quality is conscientiousness. What does that mean? You have conscience. Many of our teachers today are lacking in conscience. That is why the quality of education that is available in the country today is watered down. Conscience. A teacher must be conscientious. You know, if you go to the market to buy a beverage, if you buy one, you got back home, you discover that it has been adulterated, you may not go back to that shop another time. And you are going to be able to get the defect almost immediately when you open it. But a teacher is being entrusted with a child, and they put the child there, the parents have gone for years. They may not know whether the right thing is being done or not. It's not that when they get home they will discover that the teacher is lazy or not. You know, most of the time the teachers know that parents are very particular about homework. So even if they didn't teach them at all, they give them homework. So when the child gets home, he's busy doing listen, the teacher is working very well. Whereas the teacher has spent all the time sleeping in the class. But a good teacher is conscientious. He knows that even if my boss did not see me, if the parents of the children I'm teaching did not see me, God is looking at me. And as a result, I must do what I've been paid to do. If I don't do more, at least as much as I've been paid, I must do it. It's conscience that does that. So a good teacher must be conscientious to do the right thing, to make sure that the parents have value for their money. Conscience. When I teach I teach the second, because I still teach. I teach the secondary school students. I teach them, and when I teach, I don't look at time. So every other teacher suspend their own. So I said, meet me on Saturday. Say, I say yes, and I will flog them if they don't come. It's not part of their money, but it's my own commitment. I said, meet me on Saturday. Meet me in the evening. So a teacher is conscientious because you are not actually working for that money. You are working for destiny. And number 3, resilience. Don't mind my grammar. I will break it down. Resilience, and that is ability to bounce back after suffering a setback. Ability to bounce back. That's being resilient. When a good teacher, is faced with confrontation, is he still comes back loaded. He's not discouraged easily. That's a good teacher. It's like when you see a doctor. One of my friends told me this. Who went for an examination. It was one consultancy examination in medicine. So at the final stage, they just brought in a badly mangled human being on a stretcher, and the person shook like this, and the interviewer noticed it. Said, "No, sorry, you failed the exam." So they expected him to have had enough confidence that no matter how terrible the situation of the person you see is, as a doctor, you see, yes, God is on the throne. God will do it. You are not. So, but when he saw the court, he shook. He said, "Yes, you failed. Come back next year." Now, a teacher too, no matter how terrible a student in pupil may be, you teach them, "Emma, worry, mama, carry a feel for all my chicken." Give them confidence. So that's a good teacher. That's not a good teacher. You must be resilient. Then number 4, proactiveness. Proactiveness. That is, a good teacher should be able to diversify easily. You diversify. You study them. When you go this way, they don't get it. You bring them back again, go this way. I teach mathematics. That's one of the dreaded subjects. But when I teach them, they enjoy my class. So, by the time I go, I say, these people are. I said, the thing I use, if I use chalk, I said, don't tell them I gave you. One of the dullest students in the class, I said, give me, don't give them. They will laugh. Like I'm shipping another thing. So a good teacher must be able to diversify. You go this way, they don't get it. You go another way, you go another way until you are able to capture them. You don't just go, this is the way it must be. No. Sometimes you may come in with a song. You may come in with a story. You may come in with an ideology. You may come in with a drama. You come on. You now get it. This is what I'm trying to say. You must be able to diversify. You may come in even with stamp paper. We use stamp paper in school, in the institution. You can do it too. I've done it for my pupils too when I was teaching the primary 5 or 6 pupils in those days. I just gave them stamp paper. I said, I wrote some questions, prepared questionnaire, and I made photocopies. I said, good. I was teaching them naturalization. I said, go to people, go and ask them. So they were going to say, do you know any foreigner? Have you ever met? What is your view about having foreigners in our midst? What are the dangers? Everything they were. And they came back. So every one of them was talking. You see, these children now, they are now in high places. They got it very, very well. You can use different means to disseminate the information you are trying to pass across through proactiveness. Then number 5, diligence. A good teacher is diligent. If you are not diligent, you can't work as a teacher. Unfortunately, many people who wanted to be, who had planned to be in some other fields, when they couldn't make it, they decided to come to teaching. It's not because they are actually teachers. So, but if you have, and there are some people that are in some other fields who will be good in teaching. I have co-opted many people into teaching. A lady worked with me about 15 years ago. I said, Bidin, she went to Poly and studied something. I said, you are wasting your time with this. Go and study education. You're a teacher. So after she left my school, I now saw her about 2 months ago. She said, I have gone back to school. In fact, she had to abandon. She didn't go for HND. She now went to university to go and study education. You understand? She now enjoys because she's a teacher. There are so many teachers who are in some other fields, and there are so many people in the teaching who are not teachers. So, a teacher is diligent. Diligence is the same in the sense that you have to think of how to deliver the information you want to give to this in the way they will understand, using different means. If you have 40 minutes to teach them, you have consulted this, you will use this example, you will use this illustration to the extent that by the time you deliver, writing lesson notes is part of it. And trying to equip yourself for the period you want to teach them. And so it takes diligence. So, diligence as a quality of a teacher, lazy people cannot teach. When they will sit down, when they are supposed to start, they will sit down. Even those who are teaching nursery, I will still get them. Nursery and KG, I don't expect you to. Your board is not your own instructional aid. It should be the children. And but a lazy person can. You say, bring your books. Submit your books. As if he's teaching a higher institution. So, then number 6, discipline. Discipline. A teacher. Maybe we should say another name. We should have called a teacher. We say discipline. Somebody that is disciplined. The quality of discipline is being washed out of the education system when the old grade 2 system has been abrogated.